pieces that I wrote, and I won't drone on too long here about them, I wrote them when I was on the faculty at MacPhail Center for Music in Minneapolis. And you'd have student after student showing up, you know, at your studio. And sometimes they'd be late, sometimes they wouldn't show up. So I started writing pieces of music, and ostensibly these were intended for students to play. But I think as they went on, they took on a life of their own. I do remember this number one that I'll play here in a minute. I wrote for a young girl student of mine, and she was really quite good. And by the time I got this done, it was way beyond where she was at that point. And so I just, you know, kept up the process, and then had 10 of them. And I never really tried to pass judgment on them. I just played them or wrote them as they came out. And here's number one. So that's Etude number one, and goes through a lot of changes in that, and that's about the longest of them. And no, I don't have these all memorized, so I will try to refer to, I had an edition, I guess I published it independently a number of years ago, and if you want one, I can make you a good deal on one. I got a box of them. Number two, what's that about? I don't know. I think it just started in C and kind of went like this. Number two, it just is in C. Same thing like with number three. It started off as this thing that reminded me of something by an English guitarist that I admire, Steve Hackett, and then it took on a life of its own. And one thing I know about these things is a lot of them are a minute or just around a minute when you do the repeats. But they go through a lot of changes, and there's some interesting chord progressions. and that kind of keeps me engaged. Number 3, I guess I would end up saying that it's in D. That's usually how they'll announce these things or write them. Etude number 1 in A minor. This one's Etude number 3 in D major. This is unusual for me because I'm not that comfortable reading music on camera. So far I'm doing okay. I did take a weird turn in one of them, and you'll have to buy the CD or ask me for a copy when it comes out and compare. Speaking of that, I know for some the concept of why are you making a CD in this day and age? Well, several reasons. One, the Minnesota State Arts Board gave me a grant, and they're funding this project, so they want to see a physical CD. That's one. Thank you, Minnesota State Arts Board. I'm grateful, beyond all get up to be able to do this. And I do have a fair number of people, including myself, that want a physical copy. This is kind of like documentation of music. And even these classical things, they've been sitting around. I'd forgotten about them, and I really am enjoying playing them. And I hope that they get recorded well, and that people that listen to them will like them. The other thing is, it's going to be up on all the streaming services, so it will be available. But for those who do want a physical CD, I'll have those. I'm not going to make tons of them, but we're going to press about 100 or so. Anyway, on to number 4. This one maybe is the most distinctive. I had to remind myself how that middle section goes. It's 2 very distinct sections, and it just came out that way as I was writing them down. So, it begins in G major, goes to E minor with a really weird rhythm, and then comes back to G. Etude number 5, I think the inspiration for this was a piece of music that I worked on in my undergraduate program. I was studying classical guitar at the time, and I learned some of the preludes by Mexican composer Ponce. And this one seems to remind me of his prelude number 6, I think it is. And so but very different. fades away. So now we're up to 6. And 6 seems, in terms of an etude, more of, it's built on an arpeggio pattern, and the notes are really close together down here. That was actually kind of a bit of work to make it happen, but it goes like this. So it has that arpeggio pattern going on. I'm looking at this is taking a little longer. The sum total of these pieces is about 13, 14 minutes, so I'm yapping here just to kind of keep things going. And if you join us late and you're like, what's going on, or I want to hear the first ones, this will be archived on the Facebook page afterwards. And assuming that I can get it to download, which sometimes is a trick, I'll put it up on my YouTube channel as well. On to number 7. This one, 2 very distinct techniques again. The first one is kind of a modified, what's called tremolo. That sort of a thing. And then the second part is kind of supposed to be this flowing melody, and I believe whenever I wrote this, I was thinking of Day Tripper in the melody, so you can see if you hear that. But Etude 7. It's in E minor. It's a typical type of arpeggio. It's what a lot of people think of with classical guitar. And then it has a louder section with some dissonant or harsh sounding chords. So here goes. I do like that one. That one's kind of neat. I like that. Etude number 9. This just ended up being moving between G major and E flat major. And it's got some pretty wild stretches here. I mean, at one point I have to do this, so it's physically a challenge. And then number 10. This one goes through a bunch of changes. Actually, for what is it? 19 measures. It goes through 3 different types of changes. There's these arpeggios, then a melody like that, and then a variation on that melody, then back to the very beginning. So, yeah, this is fun too. in this set of 10 is at the very end. And those are the 10 Études. Seems like a lot as I think about going into the studio to do them, but you've heard them now. They're reasonably short. My goal will be to play each one 3 times, and I practiced doing that, and I think it took 52 minutes. So, and here's what if you can see that's the book, that artwork on there. I remember I shared a studio with another teacher, several probably, when at McPhail, and one of the other ones had a young student that had given her that little drawing that he did of a guitar on a stand. And I thought that was really cool. So I borrowed it and used it for my cover. So there is one more that this is a solo piece that I wrote, and actually literally forgot about this. I wrote this when long ago. What does it say there? 1999. Susan and I were down in Costa Rica. The interesting story behind this: I had a woman that took lessons from me, again at McPhail Center for Music, and she and her husband were part owners in a coffee plantation down in Costa Rica. And she told us, hey, you get yourselves down there and you can stay at the place. That was cool. So we got a flight down there, took the 3.5-hour bus ride from San Jose down to, I think it was called San Isidro. It was a small town down toward Panama. And they sent Hayner was the guy's name. He came out in a little pickup truck, got us in town and brought us out there, and they showed us all over the place and cooked meals for us, and it was really great. So while I was there, one of the things that we did, it kind of jump-started our interest in birding, because the birds down in Costa Rica are unbelievable. So I wrote this piece of music for my student as a thank you, and then I called it Danza con los Pajaros. And I think it's not dance of the birds, it's dance with the birds. So here goes. Hope you like it. Danza con los Pajaros. Well, that's my music, and it's just about 8 o'clock right there, so that's what I was thinking. This would be a shorter version than usual, but I wanted to do two things: alert you to the fact that I am making a new CD, and it's not all going to be classical, so that's just one component. I think right now I've got I think there's 21 different tunes that I'm recording. This stuff I just decided I really want to document it, and Wild Sound is the facility, Matthew Zimmerman is the guy, and together we're going to make this sound wonderful. The next session will be resonator guitar. Got a couple of things for the resonator guitar, the National, and then there's a bunch of things that I've played off and on in these programs over the last year, things that I wrote. I have a new tune that I have not yet played called, what is it? It's something, I can't even remember. Something about happiness, and it's kind of a joke. And I actually have some things that are still, maybe if time holds out and I learn how to finish them and play them, there'll be even more. But the CD will be kind of like these broadcasts. It's going to be all over the map, and I enjoy that, and I hope you do too. So I'll check the comments afterwards. My thanks to Susan upstairs if she's been moderating them. My thanks to our roommate upstairs, or not roommate, our neighbor upstairs. She was tapping away building frames earlier, and Susan went up and introduced herself. I still don't know who she is, but she was very gracious and agreed to stop hammering while I did this. Thank you, and we appreciate that. Because again, we were coming from the beautiful Schmidt Artist Lofts, where all sorts of things happen artistically and otherwise. No reason to go on. Thank you so much for tuning in or for watching this on the replay. And I think one other bit of business. I actually have 2 gigs coming up. If you are interested, Sunday the 12th, I believe that's the date. The big band that I play with, Southside Big Band, is playing at the Autumn Fall Festival at St. Odilia's up in Shoreview. These things will be on my website and also on the Facebook page. The other thing is, and I'm more interested in this, Blues Contraption, my trio, has a gig right next door here at a place called Keg and Case. And that's going to be on Thursday, September 16th, which is 2 weeks from tonight. And I might just use my phone, and we might just do Jerry Kosak live out in the yard there. So that would be fun. John Hess is going to join me on bass, and Dave Schmallenberger on drums. And we will be playing a lot of blues, R&B, some rock, and doing them all with the tinge of the Mississippi Delta. And it's a lot of fun, and you might enjoy that. So, until the next one of these, thank you very much, and I hope you have a great tomorrow.